And when we paddle away, it's easy to see why.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Thinking back on where we started, though, a drainage ditch by Dreamland Barbecue. Trashed and overlooked by just about all of us.
Never gave it a second thought.
It puts things in a new perspective.
Well, I've been down in there. That's a living entity.
You can't fully enjoy Mobile Bay or sunset on Dog River without first reclaiming Aslava Creek. Earlier this month, we told you why we love the cities we report in.
Pensacola, Mobile.
For farmers hoping to make a buck on this year's spring crop.
Money kind of damp sticking together.
The recent heavy rainstorms struck a chord. On the hunt for a killer.
They are not a static target.
I would shoot the son of a on sight.
It's quite scary.
Running nightmare.
Investigators race against the clock as the body count climbs higher.
Signal 34.
In Mobile's busiest precinct. It doesn't take long
I ride a real high crime area.
for new officers like Charlie Welsh
I want to take it.
to gain experience. In Alabama Village, a woman who sits on her porch nearly every afternoon gives us a glimpse into one of Pritchard's most notorious communities.
It's dangerous. You hear a gunshot, you got to go inside. Get inside.
Shots fired.
19.
When there's a shooting,
10-4,
you assume police are on their way. But documents show Ray Robertson, a high-ranking supervisor for the Mobile Police Department, allegedly screened shooting calls from dispatchers and ordered his officers not to respond.
Ordering your men not to respond to something is just unbelievably, a neglect of duty.
From the road, it's not much to look at, but this is where the Aslava Creek we know today starts. It's a drainage ditch behind Dreamland Barbecue. Just like this water will eventually find its way to Dog River, so will we, and we have everything we need for the trip.
One down.
What else do you need there, adventurer?
I need my Mountain Dew.
No need for the kayaks yet, but if we're going to travel
Careful on those rocks.
every inch of this creek, we'll want them eventually. Just look at how high the man-made rock retainer wall is on either side. This is designed to hold a lot of water. But in this stretch, it's just muck, so we'll have to drag the kayaks.
Ah, look at this.
What you won't find,
Honda hubcap.
probably from a wreck.
Figured we can put our cool stuff in.
We're down here, we might as well.
First treasure.
On we go.
Trash shouldn't come as any surprise.
You said you forgot your flashlight?
Oh, I'm
There
adding
we
this
go.
to the bag. Flashlight.
It's the one thing nearly everyone thinks about
We're off to a good collection.
when you mention Aslava Creek. What you don't realize, unless you trudge through the muck yourself, is how many creatures live down here.
I'm amazed that there are all these little minnows.
Hopefully we don't need the snake bite kit.
Sure, we know it's only a matter of time before we see at least one,
Oh boy.
but I don't do snakes.
Oh, snake! A snake!
Obviously.
Yeah, there is.
There really
So
was
stay
a
back.
We haven't even gone like 2 football fields and there's already a snake.
Well, I mean, it's wild. I mean, and it's wet.
All right.
So we're gonna see wildlife.
It doesn't take long.
There's another snake in here.
Before we get to a spot we think we might actually be able to kayak. If you didn't know any better, you'd think we were in the middle of the wilderness somewhere.
Oh gosh, this is where the snakes are.
But News 5's drone pilot, Jim Johnson, pops that illusion right away. We're still by the interstate, which you can see off to the left.
It's getting very, very soft through here.
From the sky, you can really see how overgrown it is. It takes us more than 20 minutes just to drag the kayaks a short ways to Woodwork Street, where we can finally take them out. From here, we're about halfway between Old Shell and Dolphin Street, and we can't go any further.
And that's where we'll use our drone.
You can see why we can't walk this stretch. The plants reach the top of the bank on either side. Remember, this is supposed to manage stormwater, and yet you can't even see the bottom.
Removing these plants would do nothing to control flooding.
Botanical Gardens Director Bill Finch tells a very different story about the Eslava Creek we see today.
This isn't how Eslava Creek used to be. I can sort of read, looking at some of the plants here, I can sort of imagine some of the ways it used to be. Look, there's a beautiful plant, we call it thalia. I think that used to be in abundance in Eslava Creek. So what was Eslava Creek? It really drained this big thing called Rag Swamp.
Old maps show Rag Swamp spanned thousands of acres in the middle of Mobile, and Eslava Creek originally reached as far west as Grelot Road.
And it was a great creek. It was an immense creek.
But in the 1950s, when the city drained the swamp to build a shopping mall, they turned the creek into what it is today, a glorified drainage ditch.
The trouble is, it's an old lake bed. It's already so low, it can't channel any more water to Mobile Bay. It's already nearly as low as Mobile Bay now. If you cleaned it out, it wouldn't make much difference. It's not going to make any significant difference because the water is coming from so many different places and it overwhelms the whole area.
Since the creek we have now was engineered decades ago, we're left figuring out what to do with it. Because as Mobile continues to grow, the burden on this stretch of water gets worse every year. On the hunt for a killer.
They are not a static target.
I would shoot the son of a on sight.
It's quite scary.
Running nightmare.
Investigators race against the clock as the body count climbs higher.
The general public, because of TV, movies, things like that, they feel like, you know, a snap of a finger, wave of a magic wand, law enforcement can just say, oh, well, here they are.
Griff Garrison knows exactly what goes into a manhunt like this. As a former lead homicide detective, he built his career on catching Georgia's most dangerous killers.
They can find you.
And now he stars in the hit CBS reality show, Hunted.
The family members and the friends of Mr. Boyette, they don't trust you. They don't want to talk to you.
The longer a fugitive's on the run, the more detailed he says the investigation gets.
You don't want to push too hard in the beginning. So you may interview somebody 3 or 4 times and they may think they haven't given anything up, but it's that small piece of information that they've given up and that they didn't realize they did. It's a piece of a puzzle, and when you take that piece and you put it with all the other pieces you've got, in the end you have a full picture.
Some of those pieces come from social media.
Rumor had it that he
Heard they're on his trail on Monday.
But
OMG, he is
you
in
have to
Alabama.
wade through the thousands of rumors, fueling even more panic.
We don't have the luxury in law enforcement to just say, well, that's probably not true. We're not gonna look into that. You have to look into all of it.
How big of a challenge is social media to the investigation?
We need the public's help to solve crimes. What happens is, though, you get the public trying to backseat detective work. They're trying to do, you know, Monday morning quarterbacking of it. They're coming up with their own theories of what's happened, and they're posting that on social media.
While it's a nightmare for investigators and the public, the longer a chase goes on, eventually it comes to an end.
Breaking news tonight. Mary Rice now in the custody of the Troup County Sheriff's Office.
There are cops everywhere out here. And William Boyette, we believe, has died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
The first thing was relief.
Because in a hunt this large, every agency in the country is watching, and that's something you can't escape for very long. In Northwest Florida, I'm Emily DeVoe, News 5.